So usually at the beginning of these videos we like to do something funny, but today I'm going to be a little bit more informative. And it has been confirmed by Legendary Pictures that there will be a Godzilla 2, so we're getting a sequel. And these monsters have been confirmed to be at least somewhere in the trilogy. Maybe not in the next film, but at least by the third movie. So we're going to be getting Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan. And personally for me, I would love to see a remake of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, because that's probably one of my more all-time favorite Godzilla movies. And I would just love to see Godzilla battling Rodan and Mothra, especially Mothra, because I imagine nowadays they could get that monster looking amazing in the film. And then them battling and eventually having the team up to take out King Ghidorah. Or even just like them battling and then being alluded to for the third film that King Ghidorah is going to be showing up. I think all of these would be pretty sweet. But I would really love to hear in the comments what you guys think of how you think the sequels are going to be going, or just what you guys would love to see in the sequels. So please give us a message in the comments, and now on to the review. Hey guys, welcome back to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and I'm still sick and still got boo-boos. But today we'll be going over the Neca 24-inch long Godzilla 2014. This has been a figure I have been super excited about, because for the scale, it looks like it'll actually really work well with my Pacific Rim figures, which are actually going to be moving into my Godzilla room sometime soon. And also, I just really love the 12-inch long version of it. I thought it was a very nice rival to the SH Monster Arts line. Even though the SH Monster Arts line is freaking awesome. But it still, for the price, was very good. And I'm just very excited to get this guy out of the box. But one thing I will go over with you guys is that I've heard a lot of complaints that for his authentic roar sound, the sound chip for it is located in the tail, which, as you can see, the tail is also not currently attached, so there has been breaking, and I've seen some other reviewers that's actually happened with. So I'll go over it with you guys on how to actually appropriately attach the tail, and hopefully I don't break it as well, because I'd be really sad. But for the packaging, it's pretty much what we got with the 24-inch long version, except for instead of being on a card, it's actually in a box. It features authentic roar sound. And for the side of the packaging, not a whole lot going on here. Then for the back of the packaging, it gives you a little bit of a bio, and he stands over 12 inches tall. Head tail spans over 24 inches long. Zoom in for the bio real quick for you guys. Alright, we good? Alright. Then for the other side, not a whole lot going on here, just has a weird sideways image of him. For the top, just another picture of him. And for the bottom, just a bunch of Lego Mumbo Jumbo. So, it's enough about that. Let's get him opened up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to need a hairdryer. You're going to want to turn it on and aim it at the hole right here. And you're going to heat it up just enough so that this is a little bit pliable, so that you can easily attach it to this ball joint here, which I'll show you guys a little bit better. It's right here. And then you're going to want to make sure that you come in at a straight angle, because if you go in a little bit cockeyed, the soundboard for this figure is right at the top here, I do believe. So I've seen other people and a lot of complaints that they actually broke the card in here. So just in case if it happens to me, and sorry for the sniffles, I'm going to play the sound right now just so you guys can hear it. So there's his authentic roar sound. So now I'm going to give it an attempt, and hopefully I don't break anything. Second, what you're going to do is turn on the hairdryer. Aim it at the top here. This will be a little bit boring for a second. Heating up the plastic. Alright, I think it's heated up enough. And then I'm just going to come in at straight on. Still is not the easiest thing to do. Almost like it's on. Come on. Oh shoot. Alright. We're good. Wiggle it in. Alright, I think it's done. So again, just make sure you heat it up really good and just come at it at a straight angle and you won't have to worry about breaking the sound card. So for starters, we're going to go over Godzilla's head, which to me is a very nice improvement over the 12-inch long version, because one of my complaints with that was I wish he just had a little bit more detail in the face, especially up here. Which this one actually seems like a decent improvement on that mold, which is a really big help because this figure is actually a lot larger, so they have a lot more room to work on getting the details in here. And I just think they did a fantastic job on this. Like, I just love the way he just has these little wrinkles coming across up here. And especially with the mouth detailing here. But you can see that it has a lot of pink and a little bit of a black wash inside of there. So that turned out actually really nice. And then he's got this little pink hole there, which kind of looks ugly. But you're not going to be paying too much attention to that. But it still looks really nice in there nonetheless. And then with the eyes here, I really like the reptilian look, because over here it's just more of a slash, and then there's a little bit more detail on this eye over here. Which, one thing that's a little weird to me is that they actually went with that, because in the movie, at least to me, they definitely looked more human-esque with just normal pupils. So I maybe would wish that the black was a little bit bigger, kind of like it is on this side instead of the slash. Like, it's a cool and mean look for him, but I just maybe would have liked it to have been a little bit more accurate, but it still is a very nice looking head mold nonetheless. And then going down with the rest of his details, I really like the definition of the gills here on his neck. And then with the paint here on him, I really love the charcoal gray that's coming across on here. And then he has this more of a really light brown wash coming across on his belly and his chest area and whatnot. Especially on his arms too. Like, you see it comes underneath under his hands here, while the top's a lot more armored with the charcoal gray. So it's a really nice differentiation between the colors. And especially with the scaling on here, like, I am just in love with this. And I really liked it on the 12-inch version, but on here it's just, it comes across really nice. And just a lot of the edges seem a lot harder for me. Giggity. But but they just turned out really nice, especially with like the more dragon scaling coming across on his hands here and up his arms. And then up here it's a lot more variety between the plating. And then for his legs, they're a little bit more of softer edges, but I think they still look really nice nonetheless. And then coming across here, which his knees are a little bit softer, but that's because there's the joint here that could rub, so you don't want hard edges rubbing. But I really like the way the legs came out too, and it has more of the brown wash here underneath the legs. And then his elephantish feet with this really nice polished black here on the nails. And then especially with the tail here, like, I love the plating effect that comes across on here. And one thing that you will really notice is it's not made of the soft rubber, which I love this figure for that. The only real soft bit here is at the end of the tail here, which I can understand because I can see this easily breaking. But then also with his dorsal fins up here, I think they turned out really nice as well. My only one real complaint is more along the lines of packaging problem, and that he's actually being made of a softer plastic material. Because, especially on mine, a lot of these were a little bit bent when I got them out of the package, so they're flapping over a lot. Which, especially since they recommend you using the hair dryer with the tail to attach it, what I was doing was I was heating up the plastic up here to bend it back into place. Which, you can see some of them are still bending a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as it was, which was just me having to work on that a little bit more. But it's a nice little pro tip if you guys have that problem, if you guys decide to get this figure, if yours comes out the exact same way mine did. And then also going over his authentic roar sound. Back here at the end of that's about right here. You'll see one of the dorsal fins is a little button. And then up here for the slits is where the sound comes out, which when you hit it, to me, it actually sounds really nice. My only complaint is with the placement of the sound effect, because when you hit the button, which, if I can find it again, There it is. It just doesn't sound that great coming way back here, because even though, granted, you're not going to really be playing with this figure that much because it's mainly going to be just standing on the shelf and whatnot. But it just would be a lot nicer if the sound effect was coming up somewhere more towards the top here, because then it actually sounds like him roaring instead of the sound coming from the distance. So that's a little bit of a bummer. So even with that, I'm still happy that they gave me a sound effect nonetheless. It's just, I think it could have been placed a little bit better. But overall, with the amount of detail on this guy, I think he just turned out fantastic. And then getting into the articulation, his head looks like it's not a ball joint, so he can look left and right, a little bit up, a little bit down. His mouth can open up and down. Same with his neck, has a rotation. I guess I can go all the way around. All right. And then for his arms, they can move a little bit in and out, all the way around. It's got a little bit of a bend at the elbow here. It's a little bit tough though, the joint's really stiff on mine. And then has a rotation. And his hand's on a ball joint, so has a little bit of play to it. Go all the way around as well. And then for his waist here, has a rotation, has a tummy crunch. For his legs here, mine don't really bend in at all, which is a little bit sad because you can't really get him to like placing his legs out a bit. But they can move forward, back, you can do all the way around. It's got a bend here at the knee, also has a rotation at the knee. His foot here, bumping the camera, can rotate, can't really go all the way around, and has a little bit of a pivot to it. And then with this tail here, which is pretty much the best part of the figure for me, is that he has articulation up here, right here at the tail, and then coming down the rest of the tail here, there's little segments. So each of them are their own little joints, so you can get him swinging his tail, coming up, laying flat. You can have it kind of bend down if you really want to. And it just gives you a lot of playability with the figure. So overall, like, this is just pretty much, at least to me, is just a large-scale version of an SH Monster Arts figure. Not quite as heavily detailed as I would expect from that toy line, and a little bit less articulation, but even with that, just the overall scale of this figure in that regards just makes him fantastic. So after I had to take my display away and you guys having to stare at my ugly curtains, here's the NECA 24-inch long version compared next to the Jakks Pacific Godzilla. Granted, the Jakks Pacific Godzilla is gigantic in comparison, but overall the NECA figure is just definitely a lot more posable and overall just a lot more appealing to the eyes. And here he is compared next to the 18-inch Gypsy Danger. And here he is compared next to the 19-inch Knife Head. And here is the 24-inch long Godzilla compared next to the baby version. And here he is comparing some of the deluxe Pacific Rim figures, which I actually think this is a very nice scale for these. And for my final comparison, here's the NECA 24-inch long version compared next to the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2000 Millennium. Which the funny thing is the Millennium cost me double the price of this guy. But overall, this figure was actually very amazing because of just how much articulation it has. And granted, it still has more articulation than the 24-inch long version of the NECA Godzilla 2014. But this figure is actually still very nice in the articulation. Still actually very reminiscent of these figure lines. Overall, the Godzilla 2014, I think he turned out phenomenally. Overall amount of detailing is amazing. The articulation is actually getting a lot more reminiscent of the SH Monster Arts line, which is just... I'm very glad that they're going in that direction because that figure line is very amazing to begin with. And I'm also very happy that they got rid of the rubber tail, which seemed like a little bit of a cop-out, and just went with more of the segmenting. My only real complaints about this entire figure is with the sound, because with the location of it, it just sounds like that's coming from more of a distance than actually coming from the monster himself. And also with the location of it, it's very easy to break when trying to insert the tail, which I've just already seen it happen with some other people and even with another reviewer. If you guys haven't watched Artemis's review, that happens and it's very sad. But granted, it just would have been nice if maybe they insert it somewhere where the chest area, or even maybe a little bit lower, just so that that problem wouldn't have happened. Maybe they should have maybe took a little bit more time and thought into that. But even that being said, I think this figure would have been perfectly fine even without that sound. Because even at the price, I think it would have just been worth it, because him being 24 inches long and the overall size, like, it's very reminiscent of what we got with the Gypsy Danger anyways. And he didn't have any licensed sounds and only had the chain blade accessories, so I still think the $50 price tag is well worth the figure without it. And then with the sound, it's just kind of like a little bit of an added bonus regardless. So take it what you will. And I still highly, highly recommend this to anybody. If you're going to be getting one Godzilla 2014 item, I really think that this is the one you need to be buying. And one little side note, I really wish somebody would come out with a Godzilla with the light up effects on his back where it's like coming up the spine and then the mouth lights up. I think that would be really sweet, and I'm just trying to throw out ideas like, Neca, make this happen. So what do you guys think? Are you guys excited about a Godzilla 2? Are you guys going to be picking up this figure, or is the soundboard placement just really not your cup of tea? Please let me know in the comments. If you guys want to see closer pictures of them, we'll have them on Facebook. If you want to click the link in the description below. Please don't be afraid to share this video around, and if you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.